cats are fast catching up. By playing mix and match with genetics, we're designing ever more exotic shapes and sizes. But how far are we prepared to go? For some of the world's strangest experiments in cat genetics, there's only one place to look: America. I'm heading for an encounter with a munchkin. That's a cat. In fact, it's the feline equivalent of a dachshund. And it's earned breeder Terry Harris a nickname in the world of pedigree cats. Meet the Munchkin Queen. So the first munchkin, as far as you know, was a natural development in the cat. It was just a cat which happened to have short legs, is that right?
That's correct. It's a naturally occurring spontaneous mutation.
Yeah.
The gene that is responsible for the dwarfism shortens only the long bones in the leg. It would be like from your elbow on down.
Now this is a strange looking little creature, isn't it? He is different looking from a cat, isn't he?
He is a Sphinx hybrid, bred to a munchkin, so he has no hair and very short legs.
I mean, this is really one of the strangest little beasts I think I've ever held on my lap. But of course, this cat he's not even got any whiskers.
No.
So this little person obviously goes about his life in a quite different way. I'm starting to see why Terry's called the Munchkin Queen. It seems there's no combination too strange for her to try.
This is Maisie. Maisie has 3 mutations.
Maisie?
She has the folded ear gene from the Scottish Fold.
Yes.
She has the dwarfing gene from the Munchkin.
Yes.
And she has this wonderful curly coat from the Le Perm cat.
Yes. Look, even her whiskers are munchkined. Little one, look at you, Maisie. Can I hold you, baby? Look at those little ears. This is such a little sweet cat. Little sweet cat. Now, Terry, a lot of people would say, but cats are so beautiful in their original cat shape. Why would you want to make them have short legs?
Well, I am a neophile, which means that I like things that are very different and non-traditional. I just think that they're just adorable. They're comical. They come in all different colors, short hair, long hair. And just from the moment that I saw one, I just had to have it.
This mutation doesn't bring about any kind of illness, does it?
No, they don't have any limitations other than perhaps the distance that they can jump. Now, I'm a short woman. I can't jump as far as a tall woman. But we jump, nonetheless.
Is it right? Do you think you're playing God?
If I felt that I was doing something wrong, I would not do it.
No.
I think that as long as the cats are healthy and happy, there might be a little something for everybody.
I do worry that we're taking things too far. If this is the Dachshund cat, what on earth comes next? A Chihuahua cat? A Great Dane cat? Is nature's work so unsatisfactory that we must constantly meddle with it? Next stop, the cat being made to look like a lion.
Handsome man. Hi, Romy.
And the lion someone wanted to behave like a cat. Just living in a basement.
Living in the basement.
People are extraordinary. Los Angeles, the home of the alternative lifestyle. The world capital for lavishing more money than sense on your pet. In LA, people who want to design a lifestyle for their designer cat bring them here to the best little cat house. If you're heading out of town on an all-expenses business trip, why not give your cat the same? 5-star luxury accommodation under the eyes of manageress Divinity Libby. Divinity?
Hi.
I'm Joanna.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Good.
Can I have a little tour?
For sure. Come on in.
Look at this. I love cats. I love cats.
You know, they have all these things to do. They've got the fish. We have all these catwalks up high. They've got the outside. Yeah, you get the birds.
Tiny,
and the
little
car.
sort of sofa and chair for
Yeah.
tiny cat-sized people. Mm-hmm. And do you come in here and play with them? How do you entertain them?
Yeah, that's part of our service, is making sure all the cats get a little bit of love. You can see there's lots of toys and stuff.
You've done this beautifully. You've taken such care.
Thank you.
It's lovely and sunny up here.
Yes.
Upstairs are more lovely rooms. This is certainly quite unlike any cattery I've ever seen before. I only hope these cats appreciate all this finery as much as their owners do. What is this up here? This looks like a camera.
Yes, that is a live cat cam. So wherever you are in the world, if you miss your cat, you can log on and see what they're doing. You can control the cam from, Spain.
Divinity also offers first-class feline grooming, and she's about to show me LA's latest and hottest haircut for hip cats.
This is Romy.
Hi, Romy.
And Romy's a Himalayan. So we're going to do Romy today in a lion clip. And he's going to be such a handsome man when he is all done. We won't even know what to do with him.
She's just starting to speak in cat language. Gosh, I wonder if I had such a beautiful cat, Divinity, I wouldn't have a clipping on this. Would you? I think that coat looks absolutely sublime.
Personally, if it was my cat, I would leave him like this. But some people, they're highly, highly allergic to their cats, and that's the only way they can tolerate living with them.
Maybe they shouldn't have cats if they can't cope with them.
Oh, man.
If Romy could speak, I'm sure he wouldn't be begging to have his handsome coat shorn off.
So there's your little lion tail coming out, yeah?
Look at that tail, darling.
That's the cut.
Oh my goodness, stop crying.
He's so handsome, isn't he?
Yes, he's so handsome.
No. So when they're all done, they get a little grooming spray to make them smell wonderful and fresh. And the boys get a little bow tie, and the girls get a little bow. And since Romy's the little man, we're just going to put this right on him.
At least hair can grow back. Unfortunately, some people take much more radical steps to alter their cats. Some people get their cats declawed. You don't believe in that, do you? It's illegal in England.
They're trying to make it illegal here. We actually, for a lot of our clients, put on soft paws. Do you know what that is?
No.
They come in fashion colors. So this would just slip on like that. And you glue it on.
Glue it on?
Mm-hmm. Just a drop of glue in the bottom. Then it doesn't...
It doesn't scratch.
Right.
Do you think we've gone mad? No, but do you, Divinity? Because these are semi-wild animals in a funny way.
You know, a lot of people otherwise
would declaw them.
Or give them away.
Mm-hmm. You see, we don't like animals that don't fit into our way of life, do we?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's what happens to people, and they go, I've got a cat, I didn't like the hair on it, I didn't like the claws on it, I didn't like the way it did this or that, so I've had all that changed. I've modified the cat.
Right.
I think people are very strange.
Okay.
I've always loved the independence of cats. Surely it's that which makes them unique. Sadly today, it seems that independence is the very thing some cat owners would like to eliminate by turning them into accessories. And there are people for whom a domestic cat has not been enough. People whose quest for a flashy status symbol means going bigger and better, whatever the price. Hidden deep in the Californian hills is a rescue sanctuary for the big cats that people mistakenly thought would make good pets. Lions, tigers, sadly misplaced beasts, living out their days behind bars. It's run by a woman associated more with wings than claws, actress Tippi Hedren, the star of Hitchcock's terrifying film The Birds. For the last 30 years, Tippi has devoted her all to rescuing these poor beasts from abuse and neglect.
Hi, Patrick. This is a very beautiful animal. He's a liger. His father was a lion and his mother a tigress. And
beautiful.
The hybrid grows to be, a great deal larger than either the lion or the tiger.
How extraordinary.
Yes. You beautiful thing.
He is immense.
The problem is that there are so many of these big cats born in captivity to be sold as pets. It's in the tens of thousands across the United States.
It's permitted in the United States?
There are 20 states that have no laws whatsoever. and you can purchase this adorable, darling little cub, and by the time it's 7 months old, it's destroying your house and taking a good chunk out of you. They're trying to make a house kitten out of it.
Yes, it never works.
No.
Nobody can keep a tame tiger at home.
They will never be tame.
Tippy's sanctuary is home to 83 big cats that have never learned how to survive in the wild. And every one of them comes with a tragic story. Will you look at this for a lion? If he wasn't blinking, you'd think he was muerto. He looks completely out of it. Leo?
It's adorable.
That is very, very attractive.
Leo was living in a basement with a family, and they had children, and
So no going outside for anything, just living in a basement.
living in the basement.
People are extraordinary.
This beautiful black leopard was purchased in Texas for $6,000, and as he grew, he was scratching the ladies' satin sofas and chewing her Jimmy Choo's shoes. So she put him in a closet, and that's where he lived all day long. And finally, they brought him in a zippered clothes bag in the trunk of their car. I mean, how he survived that, I don't know.
It must be very difficult to know when to draw the line, because you must want to rescue every animal in need, but you've got a limited amount of space and
A limited amount of money.
limited amount of money.
Yeah,
What do you do?
it's so huge that I can't even think about how we do it. People say, how do you do this? How do you manage this whole thing? Because it's emotional, it's maddening, it's frustrating, it's a constant worry.
It's 24/7.
Yeah, it is 24/7, 365.
Even celebrity pets are not immune. When a certain superstar's mansion hit the rocks, these two beautiful tigers ended up here without a single cent of support money, or apparently even a phone call to see how they are. There are some terribly sad stories which have brought these creatures here, but
Yes,
now that
indeed.
they are here, this is truly a sanctuary. It's the kind of Garden of Eden you've made for them here.
Yes, and it's a lot of work and a real labor of love. And I love these animals more than my next breath, but they're not pets.
No, that's true. They're wild.
Yeah. And you can't take that out of them.
Man really can be very poor at knowing how to live with nature. And yet we do have this ancient compulsion to share our homes with animals. I'm visiting a cat rescue sanctuary in South London to discover what happens when that compulsion gets out of hand. This has expanded so much since I was last here.
It's actually twice the size.
It's twice the size. This was next. For the past 30 years, my old friend and ex-top model, Celia Hammond, has made it her mission to help cats in need. Yeah. Hello.
So
And these are what? All
this is
waiting-
all today's intake for surgery, various, nutrients and various other rocks. Quite a lot to get through today.
Do you get pedigree cats in here as well?
As unwanted, we often get pedigrees, but particularly Persians, because people can't be bothered to groom them. They buy them as little cuddly babies, and then when they grow up and need to be groomed, they get fed up with it. So they come in here completely knotted, all their legs knotted together. They can hardly walk, some of them. People don't realise how much work they are.
Celia's sanctuary can house up to 400 animals at any one time. As well as a neutering program, Celia aims to rehome as many unwanted cats as possible. I find them completely bewitching, and walking past the cages and those little level eyes staring out, you think I better just take some of these home.
Well, this is wonderful. This is
I'm weakening.
Are you really weakening?
I am. Many of Celia's rescues are strays or abandoned cats. But we're now on a different kind of mission. Sometimes the problem lies with cat lovers who simply don't know when to say no. There is such a thing as too many cats.
Well, it's real hard work to try to persuade people to get their pets neutered. Some people say, I don't care what happens to other people's animals. All I know is I want my cat to have kittens. But they're making the situation worse when there's so many animals being put to sleep
Yes.
every day. How can it be right to bring more into the world when there's no homes for what's here already?
We've come to meet Valerie, whose collection of cats is not going down too well with the neighbours.
Hi, Valerie.
Hello, hi.
Hello. Hi, Valerie.
How are you?
How nice to see you. Oh, look, you've got a little person here.
Yes, it's so cute, this one.
Called what?
Oh, I'm giving it a name.
You haven't got names.
No, it's not a baby. Oh, come in.
Valerie now has 21 cats crammed into her tiny flat. At the moment, they all look clean and well fed. But without some drastic measures, soon she won't be able to keep up.
Cats galore.
Hello, kittens. Hello, cats. And are they mostly related to each other?
Yeah,
They're all one big family.
one big happy family.
But Valerie, look, you absolutely love cats, don't you? When did you fall in love with cats? Can you remember?
I love cats from when I was a little girl, really, you know. But I started off with one cat. And my one cat had 5 kittens. And I got that cat done. But the kittens now, I didn't know how young they had start off with having kittens. And it's accumulated, you see.
This is like that thing of when I was going to St Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. 7 wives had 7 cats, or seven cats had 7 kits. And suddenly it just goes out and out
On and
doesn't
on,
it?
yeah, but I'm having no more kittens now. I can't afford them. They eat a lot.
So what are you going to do? You're going to get them neutered?
Yeah, I will be getting them neutered. I've got 2 neutered already. Was it 3? But Celia's very helpful in that section there.
We're going to get them all done, Valerie, aren't we?
Yeah, need to get them all done.
It makes
I
sense,
can't take
doesn't
no. Yeah, they eat more than me. I
What
feel
do they-
sorry for myself in the supermarket when I look. It's all cat food. I hope people don't think it's for me.
I think Valerie simply hadn't realised how quickly the numbers would explode. But for some people, and strangely enough it's nearly always women, compulsive cat hoarding is now a real and recognised clinical condition. What's happening?
They're canoodling down here. They're not muted yet, and they're canoodling.
Canoodling.
Stop it.
Valerie, I think we've got to stop the canoodling eventually, haven't we? Because too much canoodling
too
and you'll
much
suddenly have
canoodling.
4,000
No, I'll be
cats.
slim. I won't be eating anything.
With 2 more of Valerie's cats off to be neutered, hopefully this particular cat family will stop spiralling out of control. It's all right, darling. We've been seduced by the cat, by the untamed heart it shares with its big cousins. It's a privilege to live side by side with them, but with that comes responsibility. And that's true whether they sleep on our sofas or simply walk on our land. Next stop, the ultimate wild cat country, Namibia.
This is just staggering. It must have been like this since time began.
Where I'm about to come face to face with a cat we're in danger of wiping off the face of this earth.
I hope you like flies.
I don't mind flies. Quietly, cleanly, and with great poise and self-assurance, the cat has overtaken the dog as our favourite companion. But for all our efforts to master and redesign them, cats are still at heart as wild as they ever were. When you compare them with their larger cousins, you recognise the same predatory instincts that we watch with fascination in our back gardens. The big difference is our response to these cats all too often comes from the end of a gun. But why? For one cat especially, the presence of humans is pushing it to the brink of extinction. 3,000 cheetahs, that's a quarter of the world's remaining cheetah population, live right here on the open plains of Namibia. This country is the front line in a battle to save them. And local conservationist Dave Houghton is a true veteran of the fight. I'm heading skyward with Dave to get a clearer picture of the thing that's brought man and cat into bitter conflict, the land itself.
This is just staggering, the size of this plain. It must have been like this since time began, really, do you think?
Yeah, this is country that big cats have been in for millions of years. And then man came along and parceled it up into little blocks for farms. And you get the inevitable human-wildlife conflict.
And who's winning?
I'm afraid it's man at the moment, but we are making big inroads into trying to get that balance right. Beautiful, then.
Beautiful.
Dave is the head honcho of Africat, a charity that's fighting to save cheetahs from trigger-happy farmers. Rather than shooting or poisoning a predatory cat, farmers can call Dave to trap it and bring it here, to Africat's 10,000 acres of protected bush. Africat now feeds and cares for 84 rescued cheetahs that would otherwise have been killed. And here are 3 of them: Pippin, Measles, and Knessus. So beautiful. Why do you think they have these gorgeous... Is it just black marks? What is it?
It's a Bushman folklore. A mother lost her babies, and that's basically what's left over from the tears of her crying for her babies.
These 3 cats are now too old to hunt effectively in the wild, but Dave's about to move them into a brand new 120-acre camp where they can live out their days in peace. Wildlife vet Mark Jago is on hand to give them a full medical.
I think it's that guy CA starting to wave.
Okay, you can go in there now. It's that one in the middle.
Yes,
you see him now? He's just wobbling a bit.
I just want to check that he is down first.
First step, to get this sleepy cat out of the hot sun.
If I get the front,
Yes.
let me just pull him out a bit because there's a thorn bush there.
Yeah?
You have to watch the flies, huh?
Yeah.
If you hold the base of the tail there,
Yes.
and then put your other hand underneath, under here. Fiona.
Under here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right.
I had no idea I'd be getting quite so close to a cheetah.
I hope you like flies.
I don't mind flies. This is fantastic. Next, we head off to the clinic for a full health check.
We're going to start here with the eyes. Check the eyes out. Make sure there's no injury, anything like that. And you can see how the pupils are incredibly clear. 100%. Right.
To make myself useful, I've agreed to some heavy-duty grooming. I thought I knew how to detangle cat fur, but this is different. Golly, some of these are pretty much in, aren't they?
Yeah.
What do? You scrag them out? You
No,
walk
no,
like
no,
a butcher.
Like that.
Oh, I see. It's funny how quickly you feel completely at home. You think I'm just combing a cheetah's tail here, just scragging out the dead flies and the burrs. I've only ever seen these things on film, you know. I think respect is the first word that comes to mind for these creatures, isn't it? Whenever possible, Africat releases rescued cheetahs well away from the farms where they were captured. But sometimes the young, the infirm, or in this case, the elderly, become too dependent on us to survive on their own in the wild. Which is such a shame. Well, tell me, an animal like this, which does 80 miles an hour, how can it ever live a natural life in captivity? It can't, can it?
Yeah.
So you can keep it groomed and healthy and alive and everything, but it won't be living like a cheetah.
No, I think it's something we've got to recognise. That, you know, as much as we try and improve the conditions in captivity, what we really are working towards is looking at the animals healthy, happy, and conserved in the wild.
Yeah.
Because that's where they should be.
It's reassuring to know there are projects like this. But it's depressing to encounter yet one more example of mankind's inability to live and let live, especially where cats are concerned. Once our 3 patients have recovered from their drugs, it's time to release them into their new enclosure. Dave's wife, Carla, lends a hand.
Just gently stick your fingers in the hole. Are we ready?
Yeah. Ready?
Hang on.
I'll normally just put my fingers half in the hole because then you get a bit of...
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay, go.
They came out of that like sort of rocket. It's kind of quite frightening because as you put your fingers just there, there's this sort of excited head comes banging up, and without being too sort of scaredy cat, you sort of think, I don't want to lose the fingers. Too old to hunt they may be, but now Pippin, Measles and Knessus will have plenty of space and protection from the gun. In another Africat enclosure, I'm waiting for Dave and Carla, who've promised me a special treat. God, look at that. That wonderful thick purring sound. Hello, darling.
Come on, you can go lay and sit in the shade. Come on.
Pugsley and Gomez, rescued as tiny cubs when their mother was killed by a farmer. There was no choice but to rear these two stunning creatures by hand, which has made them pretty much as tame as a cheetah is ever likely to be.
There's my boy. Yes. There's a good boy. Huh?
Look at your eyes.
They're huge, aren't they? Where's my boy?
No, we are. They're lovely raspy too. That's lovely, darling. It's extraordinary. Apart from everything being on a slightly different scale, i.e. the purr is 40 times louder and the limbs are X longer, they're so like domestic cats, that licking and flopping. Look, he just loves that. I'm incredibly privileged to be so close to these beautiful cats, but it would be a mistake to think they make good pets.
Let's always remember that they're wild animals. So really wild animals should stay in the wild and not be in somebody's flat in Bristol or something, you know. It's not fair on the animal for a start, you know.
I'm trying to talk normally with my arm being licked by a cheetah. It's just extraordinary. This is so good of them to come and... well, there we are. Just like a cat. But to do that graceful thing of welcoming a stranger was very nice. I've seen and held and been licked by so many cats on this journey. This cat is so much bigger, but in a way, it's no different from any of them. The throbbing purr, soft fur, needle-sharp teeth, the faraway look in the eyes, and the calm that comes from the presence of something so free and untamed, just like our cats back home. Well, it's been amazing seeing the big cats here. Utterly, utterly thrilling. And it just seems to me that we seem to have made our peace with domestic cats. They've come down out of the wild and we know exactly how to live with them. We love them dearly and they love us. We haven't quite managed that with the wild cats. With the big cats, we've got to do that to conserve them. After all this was theirs before it was ours. So we've got to learn how to share it, I think. Hopefully the Namibian cheetahs will survive. Their domestic cousins, meanwhile, are in no such danger. What a fascinating journey in their company. From an Egyptian tomb to cats with short legs, cats dressed as mice, cats thrown off tall buildings, cats simply too gorgeous to resist, and cats in the Mayan jungles of Belize. All the cats I've met have shown the same wonderful sense of independence. And I think to truly love these animals, you've got to appreciate the wildness in them. That free spirit which still burns so bright after nearly 4,000 years in our company. And more than anything else, it's the untamed heart that bewitches me. Makes me proud to be a cat woman.